I do want to talk about another ethics investigation that you did mention, and that involves outgoing Representative Madison Cawthorn. What can you tell us?
Sure. So Madison Cawthorn uh, pumped up a cryptocurrency called Let's Go Brandon. And it was tied into the whole Let's Go Brandon meme. I'm not going to get into the details. That was going around. It still is, I guess, kind of big in some conservative quarters. So there was a cryptocurrency that came out. And what this report found was that he had purchased it at below market value the day before some big news was coming out that the cryptocurrency was going to have a deal with the NASCAR driver, Brandon Brown, who is the Brandon of Let's Go Brandon. And the price then shot up. And he then sold a lot of what he had purchased. And then over the next 2 weeks, he sold more and more of it. So what the committee decided was that the committee ruled that he had received a gift, an improper gift, in the fact that he had the knowledge and the opportunity to buy that cryptocurrency at that price. And so they fined him $15,000. $14,000 of it is he needs to donate to a charity of his choosing, and that's to pay back for the ill-gotten gains. And then the other $1,000 are fines to the U.S. Treasury for failing to disclose his purchases of crypto in the first place. What's probably more interesting was what they exonerated him on.
What was he exonerated on?
So the committee was not able to find any evidence regarding two other claims that had been made about Cawthorn. And these were widely publicized at the time. They came out during his campaign. The first one was that he had had an improper relationship with a staffer. The committee said it did not find any evidence that had taken place. And any pictures that it had already seen were taken before he was in Congress, which means they didn't have jurisdiction. And the other was a charge of nepotism, and that one didn't stick because the cousin involved was a second cousin.
Got it. But the punishment that he did receive, that $15,000 fine, is this a standard punishment for this type of investigation?
Yeah, you'll often see that they'll have to pay back and you see this with FEC reports as well, that if they were to get a legal campaign contribution, they'll often be required to disgorge that to a charity. What stands out here is that the House Ethics Committee could have just let this one go. You know, he is out of Congress, and when he's out of Congress, they lose their jurisdiction. They did not have to move on this with the few weeks left, but they chose to. And I think that tells us a lot about what happens when you come into Congress and you lose your primary and you make accusations that you can't back up against your fellow lawmakers. They're not going to look the other way when given the opportunity to.
Does this show that he's not the most likable Congress member in Congress right now?
Well, I think the whole cocaine-fueled orgies accusations probably took that made him a little bit of a pariah on Capitol Hill. And I think that it'll be really interesting to see in the next Congress when all of the people who are also under ethics investigation who didn't get reelected, we'll look and see if the cases against them were pursued over the next few weeks. And I bet very few of them are. I mean, there's 7 or 8 other Congress people with open ethics investigations who are not coming back for the next Congress. And I bet those investigations get shuttered. We'll get notes that they've been mute because the people are out of office.
Interesting. And has Representative Cawthorn responded to this?
No. Representative Cawthorn, it's been reported by one of the papers down in Nashville. He is staffed, his offices have been closed for several weeks, both in DC and in his home district. I called both of them. His DC district led me to a voicemail that was just a busy signal, and the mailbox was full at his district one. And then emailing people who used to work for him, they're either no longer with Congress or they're working for other lawmakers right now. So it is difficult to get a hold of Representative Cawthorn.
Is it normal to close up shop like that before your term's over?
This is probably egregious. It's a little bit of a lame duck session especially for outgoing members. It equated to senior year of college after you've already lined up your job and have enough credits to graduate. It's kind of like, all right, I'm done here. But usually you'd expect them to at least go through the motions. I mean, he's still a government employee. He is on government salary. He is a working member of Congress for another month. And I don't know if he's doing anything. Like I said, his offices have been reported to be shuttered.
Do you have any indication of what's next for Madison Cawthorn?
I don't. I can speculate that it'll probably involve right-wing media, because that seems to be where most outgoing far-right members of Congress end up.